already did the estimation part for 2, 3 here. Now we're on to the calculate part. So it's going to be 2/5 minus a negative 1/10. So that's going to be minus a minus is plus. I'm just doing this piece. I'm just doing it up here just to keep it on this page. Okay, so we're doing common denominator. 5 does go on to 10, so we're going to times this side by 2. We get 4/10 plus 1/10, which we actually get 5/10. So we actually do get our estimated guess. Okay, and that doesn't happen every time, but we do fall right upon our estimate. Okay, so we've down at the bottom there, it says, is the calculated answer close to the estimate? I would say yes, it's exactly the same. Okay, so if you fill in the boxes, the bottom there, it's 5/10 and then 1/2. Okay, because you're doing the reducing. Okay, all right. All right, moving it down. All right. Okay, so let's move on to this one here. So we have this one's with mixed numbers. Okay, so again, we're going to go into the estimate, and then we're going to calculate it. So if we estimate 3 2/3, they're going to round up to 4. Okay, negative 1 3/4, they're going to make -2. Okay, because that's close to -2. Yeah. Right there. Right, so 4 plus a -2, the estimated total would be 2 for us. Okay, so now we're actually going to calculate it. Okay, so don't get too confused with this here. Again, you can kind of fill in the boxes as you go. All you got to do for us is we need to get them to be improper. So making that proper, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 2 is 11, minus the 1 3/4. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 3 is 7. So it's 11/3 minus 7/4. So we got to get a common denominator. 7/4 is this box here, the first one on the right there if you're trying to do the boxes. So I'm going to times this by 4, this by 3. I'm doing it by each other because 3 doesn't go into 4. So I get 44/12 minus 21/12. Okay, 44/12 minus 20/12 is going to give me 23/12. Okay, and that doesn't reduce because 23 is a prime number. Okay, 23 only has itself and 1 that goes into it. So that doesn't help us. If I want to write this as a mixed number, it would be 1 and 11/12. Really close to 2. 2 would be 24/12, right? So we're 1 away from it. So if you turn your boxes there, you can kind of see it's 7/4, 7/4. That's a -21, 23/12, and then change it to 1 and 11/12 as the boxes if you're filling in the boxes. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next piece here. So the next piece is it's a little bit different way of looking at it. We'll just kind of briefly go over it. I prefer the last piece we just did, but we'll kind of go over this as well. So what they do is they go ahead and say, okay, we're going to break it into whole numbers and fractions. So you have 3 plus a -1, so that's your whole numbers. And then you have 2/3 plus a -3/4. Okay, the only problem with this is it gets messy, and this is type of example, when you're going to have to borrow. Okay, what I mean by that is we know that 2/3 is smaller than 3/4, right? So what's going to happen is that negative is going to take over. We can't put a negative next to the answer. So what I mean by that is I can't go 3 plus -2 is, or 3 plus -1 is 2. I can't put a negative, it'll be like a -1/12 here. I can't put that there. That doesn't make sense. 2 and a -1/12. Okay, so you have to borrow from the 2. So it gets a little bit messy doing this way. If you don't like this way at all already, if you're already confused, stay with the last one, okay? I'm just going to show it because it's on here. Okay, so 3 plus a negative 1 is 2. We keep the 2 here. Now we did a common denominator here. 3, 3, 4, 4. 8 over 12 plus a negative 9 over 12. Okay, so that gives me 2 and a negative 1 over 12. And so what we have to do is we have to borrow from the 2. So they change the 2 to a 1 and 12 over 12. Do you see that? 1 plus 12 over 12 is 2. It's getting kind of crazy, right? And then we're just going to minus the 1/12 to it. So you get 1 and 11/12, which we already knew that's what the answer was from our previous example. It just gets a little bit messy when you have to borrow. You go at the bottom there, yes, it's the same. Okay, I'm going to pause the video here. Go ahead and try the show you know on the next page. Okay, go ahead and try the show you know on the next page. All right, so going through these here. Let's go to Jade. So what did you estimate for negative 3/4? Negative 1, perfect. Okay, and what did you estimate for 2/5? Good. So then we have a negative 1 minus 1 over 2. And then what did you get for your estimate then? So they're both negatives though. So you owe $1, you borrow another 50 cents. So you're going to owe. What's that? But you're subtracting it. Yeah, it'd be negative 1.5, okay? So that's a negative $1.50, or in terms of fraction, negative 3 over 2. Okay, it's a bigger negative, right? Because we're adding our integers. Okay, now if we actually calculate it, okay, we just got to get a common denominator, so I'm going to go 4, 5. Okay, so we're going to get negative 15 over 20 minus 8 over 20, negative 23 over 20. So negative 23 over 20 is negative 1.15. We estimated negative 1.5, so pretty close. If you want to change this to mixed, it'd be negative 1 and 3 over 20, right? Okay. Yeah, so even on my notes, guys, I'm going to skip the common denominator stuff we were talking about in terms of division, since I don't feel that it's needed. Okay, oh, we got one more little thing here. Okay, estimate, so I'll kind of go through these so we can get done here before class is out, okay? So 2.75 would be my estimate there. I mean, so I guess we want to round up to 3. That's a half, so that's just 0.5. So it's going to be minus a minus 0.5, which is plus. So my estimate would be 3.5. Remember, squiggly equal sign means approximate. We're estimating, you can't say it equals that because you're not for sure, you're estimating. So if we actually do it now, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So I have 11 over 4 minus a minus 1 over 2. We're going to add, give that a 2 and a 2 to make it a fourth. So 11 over 4 plus 2 over 4, 13 over 4. Perfect. As a mixed number, that's 3 and 1/4. Okay. Doesn't matter. I think as you get into higher math, improper is more friendly. So like I said, improper is kind of one I'd lean towards, but if you like mixed, I'm not going to judge you for that, okay? All right, so solve these two. Okay, we might just only get through this page here. We'll see. Okay, so we have 3/4 times negative 2/3. Remember, it's already ready to go. Okay, multiplication's the easy one. So all we have to do here is just multiply straight across. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so then we can write it as negative 1/2 or negative 1/2. What they're saying there is you can have the negative on top or on the side. It doesn't matter where the negative's at. Okay, it just means the whole thing's negative. Okay. All right. I know I'm going fast, but this is stuff from our first week, so it shouldn't be. Hopefully I'm not frustrating you. Okay, so this one here, division, all we have to do now is we just have to flip. So I'm not going to do this one, so you can cross this off. There's no reason for us to use a common denominator for division. We're just going to do our flip and multiply method over here. Okay, so that's just going to be negative 15 over 8, okay, which we can write as 1 and negative 7/8, or negative 1 and 7/8. Okay. Same thing for C here. I'm not going to do the common denominator. If you want to cross that out. I know people like crossing things out. You don't have to do it, right? It's exciting. Okay. All right. So here, we're still going to get them improper, though, okay, when you're doing your division. So it's easier to flip. So we get them improper, negative 3/2, negative 11/4. Then we switch. Okay. We should see it's a negative times a negative, so that hopefully we understand it's going to be a positive. Okay. And that reduces to a positive 6 over 11. Okay. My notes got a negative, so it's wrong. But it's a positive 6 over 11. Okay. All right. All right. So then going through the show you know really quickly, and then we got one more section. Okay. So this one straight across. I just know, guys, right off the bat, I just know it's a negative times a negative, so I just know it's going to be a positive. Really, it's irrelevant. Okay. You don't have to worry about it. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 6 is 30. 1/15. Got to make improper here. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17 over 8 with a negative. I'm going to go ahead and push times. I'm going to flip this right away. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so the 5's on bottom, the 4's on top. It's a negative times a positive, so I know it's going to be a negative answer. This is the negative 51 over 20, and then 51's nothing goes into 51, it goes into 20, so that's where it will stay. You can write it as mixed if you'd like. Okay. All right. At the start of the week, so it's the one applied problem. At the start of the week, Maka had $30. She spent 1/5 of the money on bus fares, 1/2 on shopping, and 1/4 on snacks. How much does she have left? Okay. So what you're doing is you want to figure out how much money she spent. Okay, so for example, she did bus fares as negative 1/5. Why are they saying negative?
Because she lost the money.
Yeah, she's spending it, so it's negative, all right? We already know this is negative 1/2, this is negative 1/4. So all we're going to do is we're going to times those fractions by the money of 30 to figure out how much she spent. All right, so let's figure out how much she spent, and we'll finish this one up, and we'll leave the show to you guys. Okay, so then negative 1/5 times 30, that's going to be 30 over 5. So she spent, how much she spend there? $6, right? 30 divided by 5 is 6. Negative means she spent it. I know I'm going fast. I apologize. Okay, this is the 30. That's 30 over 2. So she spent $15 on shopping. A quarter. Okay, so that's going to be 30 over 4. 30 divided by 4 is 15 over 2, which is she spent $7.50. So to figure out how much she spent total, we add those three up. Okay, negative 21, negative 28.50. That's how much money she spent. So then how much money does she have left? She has $1.50 left. Yep, $1.50 is all she's got left. She can't even barely get a soda. Yeah, she didn't really save her money very well. Okay, so like we have 2 minutes left. Try the show you know tonight maybe, or just do the show you know on your own. Okay, it's the same type of problem. I'll probably lead with class tomorrow as our warm-up, and we'll go over that. Okay, so we're pressed for time today. Okay, good job. Okay, again, make sure you have your packet ready for Thursday. Start your first chapter packet on time. Get that ready.